Hey everyone, this is Swapnil Mathur for thinkdigit.com, and today we have with us the Samsung Galaxy camera that we will be reviewing for you today. This is Samsung's first camera to feature the Android operating system built in. However, not the first Android camera in the market. Nikon beat Samsung to the game with the S800C. However, the S800C ran Gingerbread 2.3 version of Android, while this runs 4.1 Jelly Bean version of Android. Um, Along with that, it also features a 16 megapixel backside illuminated sensor, which technically makes this camera pretty good in low light, along with a 21x optical zoom lens, which goes from aperture 2.8 to 5.9 across the zooming range. And it starts at 23mm and goes all the way up to 460 roughly. Just looking at the form factor, it's an all white design on the front with blue accents along the user grip, and it's deceptively thin for a camera and it will easily slip into anybody's pockets. The back features absolutely no buttons. All you have is a 4.8-inch screen with a pixel density of about 308 ppi, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a touch screen and it's very fluid. There's no lag, there is absolutely no jitter. It's very responsive as well. So this is 4.1 version of Android. So what that also means is that you have access to the Play Store, and as you can see, we're updating a bunch of apps right now. You can install any app you want from the Play Store, and we have right here, in fact, Facebook that we've installed. So along with Facebook, we also have Instagram that we've synced to our account, and as you can see, it works. You can shoot through the app and apply the filters and publish to Instagram directly, as you would with any Android smartphone. So putting Android into the Galaxy camera has really allowed Samsung to give you the smartphone experience on the camera, the advantages of Jelly Bean on the camera, without unfortunately the voice calling capability. And the reason I say unfortunately no voice is because Samsung has put 3G into this camera, they've put Wi-Fi into this camera, and they really wanted this to be the camera which is always connected. In fact, at the launch of the camera, we were told that this camera would eliminate the whole "I'll go back home and email you the photo" scenario, and the person never ends up emailing them to you. So this is built in 3G. All you have to do is just pop in a SIM card. It's got Wi-Fi, so there is no excuse for you to not be able to deliver a photograph right then and there. In fact, we spent a couple of minutes before we started this video uploading a few photographs to Facebook that we'd shot from here. So the interface is pretty standard. It's a very, if you've used Android phones before, you're pretty much used to it. We've got the Android OS, and Android also has a host of applications that enhance the camera on any device they run on. So for example, you've got Instagram. There's also panorama apps that you can use to stitch beautiful panoramas straight out of the camera, and they take advantage of this 16 megapixel sensor and the amazing optics that have been built into this camera. So along with that, there's also a headphone jack in case you want to listen to music, a micro USB slot for charging and transferring of data, and the battery sits at the bottom. Along with, there's a micro SD card slot. So this is interesting. Samsung's cameras do not take standard SD cards anymore. They've switched to the micro SD, and we're assuming that's because Samsung, being known primarily for their cell phones which use micro SD cards, it would make sense for them to use micro SD cards in the cameras as well. So you've got that, and you've got a slot for a SIM card in case you want to enable your 3G capabilities. Now, we've noticed that the battery life on this is not that exceptional. It'll give you anywhere about 200 to 300 shots, especially if you decide to use any apps. So what Samsung has done out of goodwill is that they've also bundled an extra battery in the package, in the retail packaging. Now, we've seen so far the camera in the Android mode, but how do we put it into the camera mode? It's a camera at the end of the day. So you can do that two ways. One, you can either tap on the camera icon at the back, or you can simply just press the shutter button and the camera launches. And beyond that, it's a fairly standard operating a camera. There are no dials, so if you want to access modes, for that all you have are these three buttons right here. The first one is a touch sensitive shutter button, which will allow you to take photographs just by touching the screen. There is a video button that will allow you to start recording videos as soon as you touch the screen. And then there is a button that says mode, which will allow you to choose automatic, expert or smart. Now there's actually a bunch of really good smart modes here. So you've got continuous shot, which takes photographs in succession. It has a maximum burst speed of 4 frames per second. There is a best shot mode where the camera will take several photographs at the same time and then pick the best one. There is a beauty face shot, which essentially what it does is it adds glamour glow. And then you've got light trace, which is slow shutter speed, fireworks, night, sunset, which plays with the white balance, silhouette, waterfall, again optimized for daylight slow shutter speed shots, a built-in panorama mode, which is, we've been testing this so far and it's actually very effective. A rich tone mode, which essentially takes several exposures and then blends them together to get the most out of the image, which is HDR. Action freeze, and our favorite, macro, because this camera can get really close to a subject. And the best part is, despite getting so close, it captures amazing detail. No matter where you're shooting from, what your focal length is, the detail rendered by this camera is actually surprisingly good. Now let's show you what the export mode looks like. It's essentially your PASM modes. So we'll go into that, and you get a virtual dial system, like as if you were moving around a lens, and you can choose your aperture. Let's say if you want to shoot manually, you can set the shutter speed right here, and then you tap in front and you can set your aperture and ISO at the very front. It's really great if you are only into shooting if you're only into shooting in the export modes. One thing that we've noticed with such cameras is that they tend to do away with the PASM modes, and it's really nice of Samsung to build those modes into the camera. Although they're a little difficult to get to, we always believe that if you miss the moment, you've missed the moment. So there's that. Overall, our first impressions of the Galaxy camera, it's extremely light. It does not feel cheap in any way. It's sturdy, it's a solid block. The back feels solid, the front feels solid. It's very elegantly designed. There is no extra fluff, there is no the finish is excellent. It's all matte, it's comfortable to hold, and it is a very neatly designed camera. And I would recommend that you look out for a full length review to see how it performs in terms of video and photo quality. Thank you.